Is this Sony's least exciting era for PlayStation?
Good question.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I've been thinking about doing this junk at least for over a year now.
Oh.
I think it's, time to, have this discussion. I don't think that's unfair. There are a lot of PS5 owners, myself included to a lesser extent, that have been disappointed with the PS5 so far. Disappointed with the PS5 so far. Been disappointed with the PS5 so far.
And prepare to be disappointed.
There seems to be a situation where a lot of hardcore PlayStation fanboys, huge PlayStation fanboys in our community, some of these guys are speaking now because they're frustrated with the direction that PlayStation is headed. It seems like a lot of those guys had concerns for a long time, but Concord seemed to be the last draw for some of these guys. Jack Move Johnny, who's a big-time PlayStation fanboy, he has been for years, but it seems like the last couple of years he's been very vocal about some of his concerns regarding the PlayStation brand. He's been very vocal about Jim Ryan and some of his decisions, and now that we're starting to get a vision of PlayStation's future, or their lack of, Jack Move Johnny has been like, yo man, something's not right. He had put on Twitter, Jim Ryan really fucked PlayStation. Y'all said I was unjustly hating on dude, but look at the situation he's put first party into. Concord about to be DOA, or they're going to make it free to play, meaning they miscalculated thinking people will buy the game. Shit is free all weekend. It can't crack 3K players. Shame. Of course, he's referring to the open beta, and yes, Concord could not crack 3,000 players on Steam, which seems like the game is going to be a failure. If it's an open beta and you still don't crack 3,000 players, hell, not even 2,500 players, it's definitely going to be DOA. But he's not the only one. Of course, you guys saw the clip at the beginning of this video. The gamer 2323, who was a longtime PlayStation fan, even he's like, what's going on with PlayStation? The PS5 has been a lackluster generation. And look, guys, I don't want people to watch this video and say, look at this Xbox. Xbox haven't had games in 7 years. Now all of a sudden he's hyped. No. We talked about Xbox in the past, the second half of the Xbox One generation. Yes, they didn't have a lot of new IP. They didn't have a lot of games in development. All they had was Halo, Gears, and Forza. I would be the first to admit that. Look at some old videos when I first started my channel. I was talking about that. We always said, wait to E3, Xbox homies, wait to E3. And the Xbox didn't provide things for us for 4 years. But now we see Xbox future. We see Xbox investments. They've invested over, what, 80, 90 billion dollars on their first party. Xbox Game Pass is the best deal in gaming, despite its prices being raised to $20 a month for Game Pass Ultimate. So yes, we're more happy with what Xbox has shown us regarding the future than the PlayStation guys with PlayStation. And let's be real, man. I know I'm a bot, but these PlayStation guys, they have a great point. Jim Ryan did some things to PlayStation that I don't know what's going to happen in the future. We all know they had a great single player games, third person stories, deep stories. They had great games in the past. I love The Last of Us. I loved Uncharted, God of War, and some of their other first party content. But some of these guys are, where the hell are these games? Where are these games? I mentioned Jack Move Johnny already was venting about Jim Ryan, and he also had some words to say about Concord and also Bungie. Check this out.
On top of that, so I didn't even realize this until I was debating people on Twitter yesterday, and I was like, I blame Jim Ryan for this. And somebody pointed out, well, they start working on this game in 2018, and Jim Ryan took over for PlayStation 2019, right? I'm like, all right, cool. But that would mean, and they got purchased last year in like November, so that would mean that Jim Ryan went there, saw this game, and said, yeah, that's what PlayStation gamers want. This finna be the new hotness. Y'all charge it. That would also mean, right? That would also mean that Bungie sat there with them. The same people that said The Last of Us is not a feasible game sat there, watched this game, watched the pricing model, and said, that's the one. That's the one. And Sony went and purchased these people. You're not going to have no campaign. You're just going to have 3-minute cutscenes that's costing us millions of fucking dollars to produce, wasting man hours. This is the game we want to go with. This is the one. Twisted Metal, get that the fuck out of here. Spider-Man Online, get that the fuck out of here. Factions 2, we don't want it. This is the one. So, so he happens to buy that and then retires like a couple of months after that. The fix is in, people. I need it.
So yeah, you know, I believe Jack, like you can hear the passion in his voice. He's really upset about what's going on with PlayStation. How I always say, ponies don't want these games as a service. PlayStation gave these guys great single-player games throughout the PS4 generation, some of the best single-player games they've ever seen. And now they're taking those away to say, yo, look at this. Here's Concord. Here's a game that's just like several other games in the industry, but we want you guys to like it because it's done by a first-party team that we purchased just for this game. I said this in the video, like my last video. Jim Ryan went too aggressive with his live service games pivot. You can't just say, yo, we're doing 12 at one time. We're going to have our best studios do live service games. That's a no-no, bro. And we're starting to see how some of their fans are starting to reject PlayStation's future. Now, I'm not saying these guys are going to turn to bots because I don't believe that's going to happen, but they're just... Listen, they're displaying their grievances live on podcasts and on video, saying, yo, this isn't the PlayStation we want. The PS5 so far is not the PlayStation brand that we're used to. And I think that's fine. Payo, who's another PlayStation guy, he said, I miss PlayStation hype and being very excited for video games. Then he put out a poll, says, do you miss Sony hype? 78% said yes, 22% said no. That's on 1,292 votes. So yeah, Payo, he's not happy about the lackluster future announcements of PlayStation's first party. Blaze 4K is another pro PlayStation YouTuber, and he recently done a video called PlayStation Wake Me Up, I'm Dreaming. The video pretty much was talking about how the PlayStation from the PS3 generation, the PS4 generation, this is not the same PlayStation. Where is this PlayStation? We want these guys back because right now the current PlayStation is not what they want. Blaze 4K has been very vocal about some of, like, Concord. He was not a fan of Concord. He's not a fan of some other things. So, and let me say this one more time. I am not saying these PlayStation fans are turning on PlayStation and they're about to be Xbox guys. That is not what I'm saying. These are PlayStation fans. They're just letting it be known that they are not happy with the direction that PlayStation is headed. And if you think about it, man, Jim Ryan made some very questionable decisions when he was running PlayStation. People say, yo, man, what about the third-party deals that he signed? You know, Foam Stars. We know Foam Stars was an instant failure. Destruction All-Stars was a failure. He had a partnership with Deviation Games. That was going to be their first game. They had some great talent from Bungie and some other big-time first-person shooter studios. And that game got canceled. Don't forget, KOTOR Remake was another third-party deal they signed that got canceled. And even some of their first-party games as a service, this pivot that he wanted, this games as a service, we all know Factions got canceled.
Where is Factions? You told us to wait, we waited, and you're still not here.
Twisted Metal, Spider-Man Online. Even though Concord didn't get canceled, most people think the shit should have been canceled. Concord, you guys know, we've talked about it so much the past few weeks. The game is dead on arrival, of course. You know, then they bought like Bungie. Bungie is the team they bought to help them with their live service pivot. Was Bungie really worth $3.5 billion, y'all? Like Jack Move said, were they really worth that? Bungie just, what the hell is going on, man? I don't think Bungie is worth the money. They cancel factions, but they let Concord slide through? Doesn't make any sense. Firewalk, of course, the developers of Concord. Y'all bought this team based on what you guys saw of Concord? Nah, man. Haven, Jay Raymond's game, or studio, I should say. What do we know about Fair Games? Not much. I guess we'll see what happens with that game. But look, all I'm going to say is that you will have to be a super blind PlayStation fanboy, which there are plenty of them out there. You will have to be blind to not be concerned about what PlayStation has been showing. That's all I'm going to say about that. Super Citizen Van Red 1 says, I'm still waiting for them to have another year as good as 2009 or even 2011. Now, to be fair, I don't know why he would put 2011 up there. That's when they have that huge breach. But yo, man, these guys are real PlayStation fans that's really just saying, yo, man, I don't know what's going on. I want them to have some good years like the old yet days, and that hasn't happened for them this generation yet. AP says they didn't want to listen, Jack. Everyone's slowing, waking up to this generation being terrible. Yeah, a lot of people are starting to realize. I mean, bro, I'm going to be honest. Even Xbox this generation hasn't been necessarily killing it. I mean, I love Starfield. I love some of their other games, but they had a barren year in 2022. I love Halo Infinite, but people love the bash Halo Infinite. Forza Horizon 5 was a great game, a successful game, you know, but you know, it hasn't been a great generation for Xbox either. But when you look at the future, Xbox future is looking fantastic, where PlayStation's future is looking like what the hell is happening? Isaiah says, not only has it been slow, but the few games I was hyped to play on the PS5 have been disappointing AF.
Oh, fuck!
Well, you know, listen, man, it is what it is. I'm sure the blind PlayStation fanboys will say, you guys are crazy. This generation has been incredible. Shut y'all punk asses up. Fish from 96 says, the old corporate greedy Sony is back. Humbleness gone, commitment to community gone, everything optimized for revenue, as a result quality tank. They need to be humbled again like they were in the PS3 era. You know, honestly, man, I believe PlayStation is trying to do what's best for them. Moving to games as a service is something they felt they had to do. They said plenty of times that their single player, huge AAA games aren't sustainable as they were. I'm sure they're still going to do a couple of them, though, like the ones that's guaranteed to be hits. But gambling on a Days Gone 2 or something like that, they're not going to do that anymore, man. We know Naughty Dog spent years working on factions for it to be canceled. I don't know what stage they are with their new single player title, but I'm assuming maybe it's still a couple years away. We don't know what what Sony Santa Monica is doing. They canceled Days Gone 2. What has Sony been doing? We assume Sucker Punch is doing Ghost of Tsushima 2. I'm sure they're going to show that game soon, and that's going to be great for PlayStation fans. But besides that, guys, besides Insomniac with Wolverine and, you know, Concord and Astrobot, what else is going on at PlayStation? I believe these PlayStation fanboys being upset is justified. That's just me. In the past, us Xbox guys were upset with Xbox. Where's the investments? Where are the games? Where are the new IPs? And Xbox has answered. They answered big time. They invested crazy amounts of money, and they have something that PlayStation honestly wishes they had. they have successful games as a service. Call of Duty. I know they bought Call of Duty, but the game is successful. Overwatch. But they also had a homegrown successful games as a service. Sea of Thieves. I'm just saying, man, it's not easy. I know they have Helldivers. Hopefully that game remains successful for PlayStation. But this is where we at, man. So we will see how this year continues. Will they have a super secret showcase in September? Will they really announce the PS5 Pro? What the hell is going on with PlayStation? We will soon find out, y'all, but I gotta go. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you happen to stumble across my channel, you think I'm decent enough, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? And if you subscribe, please hit that notification bell to know when my black ass is doing some new content, baby. All right, everybody, peace and love. Peace and love. Shit, damn, man.